We have now driven from the Atlantic Ocean, Jones Beach, New York, over to the Pacific Ocean here, Rialto Beach in northern Washington State. Very fortunate, we got a parking space here. In a couple of minutes, we'll go see the Pacific Ocean. We were on the West Coast 4 years ago in 2021, and we were up in California, and this time we're back here at Rialto Beach. Last time we were here was 1983, and there's our first view of the ocean, the Pacific Ocean again. Wow, we've gone clear across the continent. Took us 6 weeks, took our time, and here we are. Gonna get our feet in there, of course. The rain has let up. It was raining a little bit this morning, but we're good now. Alright, so we're gonna get our feet in that water. We'll get in the Pacific Ocean just a little bit. There we go. Woo! Cold water. We have made it. Listen to those rocks. It reminds me up in Maine of that rock pile where you get that same sound of the tumbling rocks. Wow. In the Pacific, here at Rialto Beach. There we go. How about that? Bigger. We may take a walk tomorrow along the beach, and just have to be aware of the high tides and low tides. But we made it here today, August 28th, 2025. What a day. We're just walking up the beach a little bit here. Now look at this massive driftwood. Man, these are big trees all along the coast. We may get out to those sea stacks out there. We'll see how far we go. Pretty easy walking on these stones, not bad. And as usual, we found this lady here on the beach, this time in Washington State. And let's see what she has to say about today.
It's beautiful here. We're on the coast, Olympic National Park, Pacific Coast. And started out cloudy and nasty, and it's turning out to be really a beautiful day. And the ocean is beautiful, and it smells wonderful.
Yeah.
And there's nothing like ocean air to really relax the spirit.
And here we are on Rialto Beach in Olympic National Park. Our hike today will be to start from the parking area right here, walking right along the shoreline to Ellen Creek, continuing on to Hole in the Wall, and then we'll head on back right down the shoreline. So it is now late morning, the day after we left off in the last clip, and we waited all morning, about 3 hours, for the mist to burn off a little bit, and still obviously very cloudy and misty, but we can get out here and we're going to go continue our hike to the Hole in the Wall rock. Oh, we just have a little water in front of us here. And look at all those pelicans out there, huh? Feels good to get back out here walking. It was kind of a lazy morning. Get a little close up of these guys. All right. So our first point of interest that we should hit is, I think it's Eagle Creek. Then we will have Split Rock and then Hole in the Wall. So those are our 3 points of interest we're going to be looking for. Look at this guy with the white neck. And this is Ellen Creek. Just a little dribble of water flowing out to the sea. And this seems to be a spot where the pelicans like to hang out. There's quite a few of them out here. And we are approaching the Split Rock here. This is pretty typical weather of the Pacific Northwest. Lots of fog, lots of moisture. Then we have the forest right up to the beach. We have the sea stacks. And here is the Split Rock. So as you walk along the sea coast here from Rialto Beach up to Hole in the Wall, which is about 1.5 miles each way, they say you do have to watch out for the tide schedule, although they say up to Hole in the Wall you should be fine regardless of low or high tide, but Once you're beyond that, things can get a little dicey. So you want to watch the tide schedule when you take a walk out here. And that sure looks like a hole in the wall up there, so we'll head up that way. First, we get another view of Split Rock here. So we're approaching the hole in the wall at this point. I'm a little bit dicey on these rocks. They could be a little slippery. This is one area they say with a high tide could be a little tricky getting over here, or maybe not possible, but right now looks like we can make it. I may shut this camera off for a minute and we'll proceed. A little slippery. Okay, let's shut this and do this safely. What's also interesting is at low tide you get to see some of these sea organisms, some sort of plant or animal right there. Looks a little like an anemone to me, but I don't know. Somebody have to let me know. There might be a few more here. Here's something right in there. And there's some exposed right over here. Okay, so it looks like we've passed the worst part of the walk through here at low tide. So let's head over to hole in the wall. Oh boy, here's lots of shells. Wow. Lots of life here in the tide pools. All right, and it looks like we have hole in the wall coming up on our right. There it is. And here you have it. We have made it to hole in the wall, which it is. And you get to see Split Rock right through the center. So not the most iconic shot in this weather, but there it is. All right, so this is probably the most popular hike here at this area of Olympic National Park. And hope you enjoyed a little tour, little stroll along the beach of the Pacific Northwest here to, I think it was Eagle Creek, and then Split Rock and Hole in the Wall. And I'm gonna head on back now because that high tide will be coming in and you don't want to get caught out here. So we're going to end our little journey here. Hope you enjoyed a little stroll along the sea coast of the Pacific Northwest. So our next little adventure is to try to walk along this really barricaded walkway here, and we'll see if we can get a little closer to those islands out in that direction. I see some people walking across, so looks to be a small little land bridge. I don't know if we'll go that far with it, but I'm going to continue along this little journey a little further, see how far we can get. Interesting little spot here at Acadia on the Indian Reservation here. Okay, so we're just going to keep climbing over logs and walking the path, see how far we can get on this little excursion. It is August 30th, late summer, taking a little walk. This is a view looking back from where we came from. We still have a ways to go in front of us. We're parked back there. That's Rialto Beach right there. And we have the river on this side. The res is right there. And we're going to continue forward, making really good progress. You just have to log hop and interweave and keep going. So we're going to pursue this trail a little further, see how far we can go. Onward. Yeah, we have the ocean right here on our right. There it is, the Pacific. Sea stacks everywhere here. All right, it looks like we cleared some of the worst of it. Got a few little raindrops coming down. I don't think there's anything heavy in the area. You may see some people, let's see, right about in this area here, walking on that little land bridge. But looks like it's going underwater. At any rate, I'm going to continue on. This pile right here seems to be saying, we really don't want you to go any further than this. But we're going to go a little more. Up and over. There we go. Do have to watch your step around here. Okay, just a little further to go, and we'll call it a day. Let's head out in that direction. And I picked up some semblance of a trail here, so we're just going to scoot on down to the beach and continue from there. A neat little adventure here. See, if you look back to the right here, you see there's really no safe route along the water. But a passable journey. We can make it. Let's move on. I have to say, this is a remarkable little spot. I'm very glad I decided to take this little walk. Our last day here in Olympic National Park. And it was worth it. Look at this scenery. Look at that. Little sea caves. Looks like I'm not going to try to go across this little land bridge. We'll get soaked. You do have to keep your eye on the tide schedule here. But here it is. Unnamed to me. With this series of sea stacks out here. Wow. And if we look back to our right, we'll see the split rock where we went yesterday, pretty much in the center of the picture here. And just beyond that is the hole in the wall. So here you have it. Rialto Beach, Olympic National Park, Washington. And move further up the beach. Awesome place. Very sandy here. Look at that scene. Could be a movie set. So we're at that little land bridge, but the tide is a little too high. You may see these little, look like sandpipers to me, poking around. And looks like we've reached the end of our little journey here today. An awesome scenic spot. We're going to stay this side of that water. Just enjoy that scene one more time.